moving on quickly to new rules of engagement, very, very interesting topic and very interesting panelists as well. I'm going to quickly, of course, give a brief introduction. Deepika ji is director of Ekam Nyay Foundation. She's also a documentary filmmaker. And on her social media, what you see a lot is her speaking about a lot of male victims of certain laws that have been created for the protection of women, but are being perhaps misused in today's day and age. Then, of course, we have Yogita Bhayana. She's founder of Pari Foundation, which is, of course, prevention of rape against women and in India. Then we also have Shanali Singh, who's the founder of And We Met, which is a dating app, a new age dating app, you know, fitting into the modern world concept. But right next to her, we have Tripti Rathore, who's the founder of Gut Jod, which is focused on, and correct me, ma'am, if I'm wrong, but on the Rajput community specifically, a matrimonial specifically designed for the Rajput community. So I have a very, very interesting panel here. And I want to begin, of course, by asking, let me start with Shalini ji. Shalini ji, what, as per you, are the new rules of engagement, ma'am? And the sort of people who are coming on dating apps, what are you understanding about their psyche today? Young boys, young girls?
So you said young boys and young girls. I think dating or finding someone for a long-term partner can happen at any age.
Absolutely.
And doesn't have to be at 20, in 20s, it could be at any age. But what I'm finding is that there's a lot of societal pressure to enter into a relationship because, while growing up, the discussion around marriage and all starts when we are really little. And I just see that nobody talks upon what a relationship means, but the focus is only on education, like get grades, not even education, to get the good grades, and then get a good job. And then parents will look for a partner. So what I see is that people feel guilty if they go out choosing a partner for themselves. I see that, and that's what I see mainly.
Okay, I want to take the same question with Deepika ji as well. Deepika ji, do you feel that in today's, as Shalini Singh was pointing out, the reason why I ask her is because, of course, she has access to words, understanding what are people today looking for. But just from an observer of society perspective, do you feel that somewhere today people are not being able to really define what relationships mean to them? Or are they struggling to define what relationships and what it is to fall in love, to have a partner?
First of all, thank you for having me on this panel. I think in today's day and age, one of the biggest challenge that most of the young generation feels, or I wouldn't say even young generation, I think people like us also, is the example that we have seen of our parents of having a very, very long relationship, long marriage, where at the same time today we are seeing marriage and relationships breaking down every now and then. So, so there's an element of confusion that what we saw and we have been seeing as an example vis-a-vis what modern behavior or modern wants from life, I would say is, and I think that's the biggest friction, I would say. I think somewhere people are able to, have their own pathway. But yeah, I feel a lot of young generation absolutely confused about relationships. I don't think so. We had as many terms as we have today. There is benching, there is live-in, there is, I don't know what all terms, I am not very aware of. But yeah, the young generation has just too many terms to define on what kind of relationship they are in, while for most of the people it used to be marriage earlier.
So in such a day and age, Deepika ji, continuing that conversation with you, as you said that there is a lot of ambiguity about how we wish to define our relationship with someone. What then become the challenges that young adults face? Deepika ji, I'll come to you in just a moment, ma'am.
I thought you were asking, could you repeat that again?
Yes, I'm just trying to understand. You've just said that there's a lot of ambiguity in terms of the way people are defining their relationships, right? There are terms, there are situationships, and all of that is going on in today's day and age. What are the challenges that come with that?
Challenges would be the normal human feelings of not being able to find the partner while probably everywhere around, especially in the day and age of social media, you have Instagram happiness all over, right? And in that scenario, when you are not able to find a partner, you sort of feel left out. I think that, in my opinion, is the biggest challenge. I don't know if you would agree with that. And people are in that stead just willing to get into anything that they find, and that's where a lot of my work also comes into picture, where people get into the wrong relationships, meet the wrong kind of people, become victims of scams, and sometimes become victims of crimes as well. So, yeah.
Okay, Shalini ji, you wanted to add to that?
I just want to say that when we talk about serious relationships, we associate it only with marriage, right? Whilst things are changing, not everybody wants to get married, but they still want to be in a committed relationship, right? So marriage is which gets in your legal documents in place. But then what I am seeing are people who are financially independent, are absolutely okay in live-in relationship, which is as good as a committed relationship. But the only thing is that it's not accepted, right, like by the court. And so when you're at work, if you have a married partner, they would get the perks, but if you have a live-in committed partner, they won't get the perks. And the third thing that I am seeing is companionship, where, the couple decides that we are in a committed relationship, but we'd like to live under two different homes. This could be, for someone who's never been married. This could be for somebody who's a single parent, and wants to focus. So they would meet, and they're in a committed relationship. This could be the individual has other priorities. So I am seeing these form of committed relationships, which is marriage, live-in, and companionship.
Okay, Yogita ji, bring you into the conversation here. On the same aspect of ambiguity in relationships today, when we, as Shalini ji also just explained, what are some of the different categories that we're looking at, what then become the specific challenges for women in such a situation? What are you experiencing with your work?
The same what Deepika ji is facing, because we are maybe the opposite side of the coin, but we are facing the same challenges, because couples, the men will go to her, and definitely women are coming to me for issues to be solved, because when they are not legally bound, we protect married women in our country. The constitution will protect their rights. However, it is so difficult to get them justice. And you know how the laws are implemented in our country. To get a woman alimony or maintenance or justice, I'm talking about, is so difficult. When it comes to, where live-in partners are there or relationship is there and there is an atrocity of some kind, they are not protected. So they are it's a gray area, and more women or men, they are getting into relationships which are not, having any name. They are situationships, or they are as you mentioned, they are into some kind of relationship which are not tagged or named. They are not defined as such in our constitution. So this is the biggest challenge. It's a high time we need to realize that we need to cover the rights of women, irrespective of whether they are married or not married. I mean, any kind of atrocity. I mean, now if a girl goes to a police station and say, okay, my boyfriend has assaulted me, or he has beaten me up, they'll not entertain. I mean, not even, and the dichotomy is that even a married woman goes to a police station, they'll say, ki ghar ka mamla hai, ghar mein nipta lo. Matlab, wherever we are in the situation, I mean, we are not attended to as women. So where now the high time we need to attend to these things, and we need to understand more and more people will get into these live-in relationships. And wherever, I mean, because times are changing and people are becoming financially free, women are getting financially free, and now they are not depending on men more and more. So
yes,
so we need to kind of address the issue as what we see right now.
Okay, so I'm going to bring, as you said, you're on sort of the opposite spectrums of the same, the underlying issue, and you are looking after the rights of women, and you're also looking in for how men could possibly be suffering. I want to understand from you, Yogita ji, firstly, if you can just share maybe an anecdote with our viewers of how is it that the system or even the cops react in today's day and age, like you said, right? If it's my boyfriend, then the cops are probably not going to be taking it as seriously.
They'll be judging you. They'll be making comment. We have police officers sitting here, right? Sir is here. They'll say कि महिला अगर पुलिस स्टेशन चली जाए तो पहले तो उसको वहीं जज किया जाता है. You know, she'll be judged there. कि आपने पहना क्या है, हाथ में सिगरेट क्यों है, मतलब you know what I mean. तो पहले तो उसी पे कमेंट किया जाता है. And they are not supposed to make comments. I do a lot of police trainings. तो मैं उनको बोलती हूँ भाई आप जज मत करिए, आप जज नहीं है, जज का काम जज को करने दीजिए. यू आर अ कॉप, यू डू योर ड्यूटी. इफ अ वुमन इज कमिंग टू यू फॉर एनी ग्रीवियंस, you attend to it, listen to her with empathy, do not judge her.
And have you somewhere noticed that with an increased number of dating apps now available, how has that impacted the work that you're doing? Are people being scammed maybe on dating apps? Are they being
इनके पास ज़्यादा cases आते होंगे क्योंकि I have heard about a lot of scams where men are trapped because they have deep pockets. Unfortunately, women are not suffering this side of the thing.
Okay.
But at the same time, yeah, so one has to have some kind of, as I said, ना कुछ तो legal outlook होना चाहिए कि पता है dating apps are mushrooming and everybody is on dating apps, whether hidden or not hidden. कहीं ना कहीं people are using it. So why not to make it official and legal? Why be so hypocrite about it? I think वो जितना ज़्यादा हम छुपाते हैं ना society में anything, that has a very bad repercussion. So we need to understand and accept so many things which are happening. हम लोग accept नहीं करते हैं as a society. We want to be hypocrite and like, okay, नहीं India है, the culture, the tradition. I'm sorry, everything is happening in this country. Rather accept it and address it.
Okay, Deepika ji, same question to you. I want to understand from you as far as dating apps are concerned. That really has become a big part of what we're discussing, right? New rules of engagement with one another. So how does that work out from the male perspective?
In 2024 only, we have got about 16 people arrested, 6 in Mumbai, 6 in Hyderabad, a girl from Jaipur who had filed 14 rape cases, a girl from Jabalpur who had filed 7 rape cases. Yogita knows about my work and I adore what she does for victims, and I am sure she understands there's another side of the story as well. Well, let me say this, that, and I actually wanted to start by saying this, just like it was very intimidating for women to be in front of all men everywhere, today I feel very intimidated because I'm sitting in front of everyone who's going to talk about women, but I talk about men. So it is a little intimidating, but then I will still say it. So dating apps have now become an extremely, extremely big con centers for young boys, for men as well. What used to work for men has started not working for them anymore or working against them. What I'm trying to say is, men start working early, they do have money, they are looking for companionship, they would want to go and meet a person. Now there are absolute gangs operating where there are dating cafe scams, then there are scams which I have gotten people arrested for where the woman would willingly go with the guy and then the next day she is in cahoots with the police officer and they will intimidate the guy that we will charge you with rape, or you give this certain amount of money. So, and these numbers are increasing like crazy. Almost on a daily basis, I get victim somewhere or the other from across the country. Some people have lost humongous amounts of money because they feel really, really shamed that what if they go out and they say that, you know, this woman is basically doing this to me. First is nobody is going to believe him. Second is, even if he's believed, still the litigation would be against him, so he will have to fight. So rather you pay money. And people know it, and it's not just the women who are conning men. These women are working with men, and these gangs are operating in cahoots, and they are taking advantage.
Okay, so Shalinji ji, how do you deal with that? I mean,
I knew
since
this would come to me. I was pretty
because
sure
genuinely speaking, because there are so many apps out there, I'm sure that as founders, you also really think about how do we protect the people that are on this app.
Absolutely. So firstly, let's just talk about dating apps first. Why have dating apps come to being? It's convenience, right? Earlier, you know, there were communities. We never had nuclear families and all, right? So there were communities and they helped us, you know, whenever somebody wanted to get introduced, that happened. So dating apps have come and it's just form of convenience. I mean, you have 10 minutes convenience right now to get anything delivered, right? So I will come to protecting, but I think it's very important, and what I am building or what I have is a community of singles 28 and above, financially independent, professionally qualified. But however, when it comes to dating, they are in such a hurry, right? So I think it's very important to reflect what you want. And you know, if you are someone who is traveling alone, managing your home alone, but somehow when it comes to finding a partner or dating, you succumb to scams.
Yeah.
Right? You're just looking for, I don't know, that's where your common sense doesn't work. So that's a personality issue. What we do is we make sure that the information they have shared about themselves, which has got to do with their age, their name, and their profession, is true. How
Right.
they are as people, we cannot, I think nobody, I mean, like tomorrow,
No,
if I
absolutely.
introduce you to someone,
Yes.
so that's a personality thing.
Yeah,
right? So
right.
that's not on the dating apps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. But on that note, I want to bring Tripti ji into the conversation because, like I said, a very interesting perspective of someone who's leading or has created a community, a matrimonial community from, in a way that's been happening for ages now. Dating apps is something new, but in a way, Gut Jod or the work that you do is also somewhere matchmaking, and of course, it's just dating apps is the modern way of us looking at it, but there have been people who've been bringing families together and have been taking, of course, unions forward. I just want to understand from your perspective, how does a concept like Gut Jod fit into the modern world?
See, I think I'm the odd one out here who strongly believe in institution of marriage when it comes to arranged marriages. So I won't call it arranged marriage, I will call it preordained marriage, where someone is destined to get introduced to someone and get married. I won't comment on dating app because it's a personal choice, but coming back to the community like Gut Jod, we still strongly believe in the old way or old method of getting to meet families, bringing two families together, because we still strongly believe it is not about getting two people coming together, it is more about bringing two families and two association for life together. So when we talk about Gut Jod, there is a lot of work which we do where Shalini said that you have to get the background check. So we work on that because it's very important to say less is more. Because when we talk about dating app, you get to see so many profiles, you get to meet so many people, but when we talk about Gut Jod, we deal with selected profiles and we work one-on-one basis, which gives so much of importance to every profile, and how we take it further, it's important.
But Tripti ji, I'd also like to understand, has there been any case where perhaps the parents have approached you, but either of the kids, or it could be a boy or a girl, and they've come up and said that I'm actually already, seeing someone, but I can't really tell my parents about it because they want me to get married within the community. Has that ever happened, and how would you deal with such a situation?
Not about seeing someone, but yes, there were times when a parent asked me that we are sending our child to meet you. Please make them understand this is the right age to get married. And when I meet these kids, I say, please study, please start working, because being financially independent is more important than getting into a relationship if you're not ready. Because being financially independent is very, very important these days.
Okay. I want to then circle back to just society at large and looking at it from a perspective of marriage. Shalini ji, I'll begin with you. It's the same question for everyone. Do you feel that somewhere a slight erosion of the concept of marriage, or differentiations in ideas of relationship has also resulted in some of the other problems that we see, which both Deepika and Yogita deal with on a daily basis, as far as my relationship with my partner is concerned, or just understanding relationships overall is concerned. Do you feel that an erosion of the institution of marriage has somewhere perhaps led to these problems? Or do you feel that they're not really, they're unrelated?
So I'm going to give you two answers for this. So on Anvi Met, 99% of our singles want to marry. Okay, that's what they're looking as their committed relationship, 99%. And second, I think the institution of love and relationship is still there. But what I feel is that, bad news travels fast. I mean, you're a news channel. Sensational news travels faster, right? So I think 80% of people are, or I would say even actually 90% people are very happy and content in their relationships. 10% are not, and they are the one who talk about it. And so obviously, that floats. That's what I see where committed relationships are concerned.
Okay, so in your understanding,
in my
most
understanding.
young people today actually do want to get married. They're not simply looking for flings.
So at 28 and above, so we call ourselves, a community for, individuals looking for a committed relationships.
Right.
So if they know that it's too boring otherwise in our community for them.
Okay, all right. Deepika, your perspective on that as well. Just from your analysis over the years of the work you've done, what do you feel are the factors today that are resulting in the sort of cases you're dealing with, where one of the others is misusing the trust that is placed, right, in terms of a relationship?
Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, but that's my work. So we deal with separations, divorces, very bitter and very ugly battles every single day. In my personal understanding, I think the fabric of institution of marriage has changed already and is permanently changing. One of the reasons for that, I think, largely is a lot of Western influence. I'm not saying it is bad, it is good, anything. I'm just saying that it indeed is the reason for a lot of our perceptions about relationships and marriage changing. What I see is a major conflict in the minds of people is the traditional roles and responsibilities that were put upon both the man and the woman in the institution of marriage vis-a-vis how people want to lead their life today. A lot of the disputes or the ugliness that we see coming into the marriages are for very simple reasons, very simple reasons. These are made big in the court of law. These are made big by the advocates when you get into the allegations or things like that. But the points of conflict, and I'm not discarding the fact that there is a lot of domestic violence that happens even today, but largely what we see is the reason of conflict may be very small. The woman would say, I don't want to live in a joint family. I do not want to live with your parents. The guy says, I'm the single guy. I did not think that I would have to leave my parents.
Yeah.
Or probably the woman would not be okay with certain habits that the man has, or the man would not be okay with certain habits that the woman has, and they will snap away like this, So I think the patience level is down phenomenally. People do not want to make a lot of efforts, and something which is a little bad but is happening also is that both the sides of the parents are also like, mera beta bilkul sahi hai, meri beti bilkul sahi hai.
Right.
So the larger thing is a lot of selfishness and not really wanting to make it work, and that leads to conflict. And then, of course, there is misuse of law, which is absolutely another side of the story. There are so many laws. Our courts do not want people to come into the courts for litigation, or when they come for litigation, they say, it is a small dispute, don't make it a matter of domestic violence. But the fact is, you have given just so many laws. So when you have so many laws, then even if you do not want, that there is a provision, so you will go for it.
Okay,
so that's
yes. I have a couple of
litigation
minutes.
is a big factor for people losing faith in the institution of marriage.
Okay.
And when men say that, we are not going to get married because, women are misusing laws, I also say men have been doing it for a very, very long time. If that was the reason for somebody to completely, do away with the institution of marriage, then women would have done it. But let's accept it. Women and men both are going on that path where they want to be independent, living freely, single, sort of losing the faith and trust in marriage.
Right. I have a last couple of minutes left. Yogita, I want to understand the flip side of that from you as well. In terms of the cases that come to you, what you read or what you understand of society, have families really changed in how they're dealing with girls?
Yes, initially, like if I say 40% of the women, they go through domestic violence. Let's accept that. I'm underrating it. So 40%, they are going through it, and now because they are financially independent, they don't have to live with that violence anymore. So they know they can walk out. They have the money to kind of walk out, and we have shown in recent movies also, like. So it's a good thing in a way, you're not trapped into something, you're not taking it just because you're not financially independent, and that is the thing. And also now more and more parents are supporting the daughters, and they are saying, okay, if you don't, it should not be like a relationship where you're suffering for years. It's okay to walk out and be happy. I had a case where this girl committed suicide, or she was murdered, whatever, it's still in the court. So the parents are reaching out to me and they are saying, get them arrested. So boy was already arrested, and he was telling me, like the father was telling me, get the in-laws also arrested because, they were also influencing him. So I said, so what were the signs and symptoms? Your daughter must have given it to you, that she's suffering. Yes, how many times she used to say that she's been beaten up and she doesn't want to stay there. I said, what used to be your reaction? They used to say, then, no, compromise, आपकी अर्थी उठनी चाहिए. The statement, आपकी यहाँ से डोली उठी है, तो आपकी अब अर्थी उठेगी. तो अर्थी उठ गई. So मैंने कहा, तो first thing, I want to send you to jail. You deserve to be in jail. Your daughter was telling you again and again she's suffering. You are responsible. So if you want me to send in-laws to jail, I think you are the first one to go to jail. So I'm trying to say that you need to instill that thing. If you want marriage to work, you need to have a counseling session before marriage. That is missing in our country or anywhere in the world for that matter. But we need to prepare our women also, girls also, and men also to, that you're getting into it. If you don't, it doesn't work out, it's fine. You come back to us. This is your house. You're not just abandoned कि चली गई तो बस वापस नहीं आना. So these are the many factors, social factors. They should protect the women. Otherwise, things are changing. Yeah.
Interesting, very interesting perspective.
I just want to very quickly add there. What Yogita said just makes so much of sense. So much of suffering and pain that people are going through in the courts for no reason whatsoever, but for being misguided. Both men and women can be resolved in such a larger way if the government actually thinks about doing marriage counseling as a, probably pro bono service. A lot of, there is a difference between crime and, incompatibility or any other reason. Unfortunately, a lot of cases are clogging up the system, courts, police stations when they should not have. If people were counseled much before, kuch zarurat bhi nahi padti. Unfortunately, we have come to a point where our women police stations are also completely full of cases. They have also become immune. Let me be very honest, I fight for men, but they have become immune to problems of women as well.
Okay.
So, unse handle hi nahi ho raha hai, dono sides,
okay.
So they are just like,
go to the
court.
All right, I'll leave the last word with Tripti ji. Yes.
So I'll just add on. Because kids sometimes feel that there is not an open communication channel where they can share what they feel, be it with their parents or their in-laws. So it's very important, be it boy or a girl, they need to communicate and come on the same table that we are feeling, we are going through. And it's not like if you're getting married, be it love marriage or arranged marriage, it's not like you'll getting married and you'll adjust in one day. It takes time. It takes time to adjust. So communication is very important in any sort of relationship.
I think this has become, we are in an era of instant gratification.
Yes.
And, like you call mama's boy, the girl is called daddy's princess. But they forget that mama and daddy, are now 50 or 60 or 70 and have achieved whatever they have to. And we need to achieve. I think that's what's also happening.
Well, that's a interesting food for thought note for us to wrap up this very, very special session on. I thank once again all of our panelists for joining us today. We had Deepika Narayan Bhardwaj, Shalini Singh, Tripti Rathore, and Yogita Bhayana explaining to us the new rules of engagement.
Absolutely.
Uday,
Thank you
over
very
to
much. I'll just request you all to just stay back as we present to you this token of appreciation. Tripti Singh, Shalini Singh, Deepika Bhardwaj, and Yogita. I thank you all for joining us. Also thanks to Devika who moderated this session.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.